Beth goes to these stations and she's connected with other people and answer about any question that comes up on utility type things, of what's done, what's accepted practice and all that. So really we don't have a lot of issues with utilities, although there might be. So we've had some questions about larger issues of when you have to provide service, all those sorts of things that will be on day-to-day management of an office.
And that's fine. I mean, anything that someone else can handle that you don't want me to handle, that's fine. I do like to be clued in. I like to have a broad scope of everything that we're doing. Sometimes we'll say, hey, we've got this one issue with this one ratepayer. Will you go after him? I don't even know anything about it. I don't know how you want to do it. I don't know. So it's nice just to get copied on things. I guess sometimes when there's correspondence, you don't have to, but it just helps me. I mean, I read everything. Sometimes I don't respond if I don't need to, but I read it all. So, I mean, it doesn't do me any good if I charge you guys an unholy amount just to serve as town attorney, because you're not going to be happy and I'm not going to stay around. So my hope would be that would be a longer term relationship, and that you guys get the things done that you want to get done. I get paid fairly. You don't spend an arm and a leg, but get some things accomplished and everybody's happy. He gets to videotape and enjoy that.
That's our goal, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. We get sidetracked on really some unholy things.
It's whatever you guys want. I understand if you don't want somebody there, that makes a lot of sense. If you only want roughly 5 hours a month, I mean, I think that's very, workable. There's going to be some expertise that I probably cannot provide, that I'll have to, look to someone else to assist me with. And obviously, I'll let you know before I do that, but most attorneys in small towns aren't able to do everything. Like we just did a bond. We're doing a bond issue right now with doing some infrastructure bond and doing a variety of different things. I mean, I serve as local bond counsel, but there's really only like 2 bond attorneys in the state that give bond opinions, and so. Kind of what they say too is that the stuff that used to be done in Indianapolis is now done locally, and the stuff that was done in Chicago, New York City, or whatever is now done in Indianapolis. And then the stuff that's done there is usually wasn't really done before. I mean, it's very complex, but the stuff that we do, I can't be an expert on everything, but we work with a lot of other municipal lawyers. And I'll just shoot them an email and I'm like, point me in the right direction here. And I mean, they never bill me for that. But sometimes it's not something that I'm familiar with, and I'll have to ask them for their guidance. So.
I think that's admirable versus you sitting here and telling us that you know everything about everything.
I know very little about very little.
And this is more of a point than a question, but I find it difficult for me to swallow to believe that we have to go to Indy and hire an attorney to handle the matters that we deal with on a monthly basis in the town of Odon. Unless somebody convinces me that we need to go pay the high rate and have an attorney that hasn't got any tangibles to this local area, no connections, nobody that knows anybody, nobody that knows any history, it's hard for me to believe that that would be the best thing for the town of Odon.
Mm-hmm. Well, you just have to have you just have to have an idea of what something's going to cost and work from that point. If it's going to take me 20 hours to do something that it would take somebody up there maybe 5 hours, then it doesn't make sense for me to do it.
Well, and there's your point that you made earlier. something that you feel like we would be better off retaining somebody else to accomplish, you'll tell us.
Absolutely. I mean, we do, I do that a lot, you know.
Well,
Not, I hope not too much, but, you know.
well, it's a lever that you can pull.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why we go to the Municipal Lawyers Association conferences, all sorts of presentations, and yeah, this guy, he can do that. And you ask them, and it's not like they're gonna bill you for half an hour for that. And you say, you know, this is what we're doing, what do you know about that? And they can say, well, do this, this, or this, or whatever. I mean, it's really gonna depend on what your needs are and what you want to do. If that's a high priority, if that's a low priority. If that's 10th out of 10, you know, it doesn't make sense for you to spend a lot of time and money thinking about it. You guys are, but ultimately you guys are in charge. I mean, if you don't want to pay for something, then don't pay for it.
Well, we are limited, and although spending out of control, try to manage the best we can.
Sure.
And I think we can learn to be better aware of what we're asking, and then
Well, what's your timeline on making a decision, and, I mean, what other questions do you have for me that I can answer now, or,
I would say a timeline, we need to make a decision probably within the next 30 days. We have things pending that we're gonna be required to have legal help on.
and I will say that it is just nice to have that, to have the, a little bit of a heads up. I'm just thinking of someone told me, we're gonna need you to file, you know, they told me something like, we're gonna need you to file suit next week. And I'm like, well, give me a little bit more background. I mean, I'm gonna have to get all this stuff together to make the complaint even make sense. I can't just do things like that. So your timeline obviously is that, we try to do things very quickly and turn things around very quickly, but we do need sometimes a little bit of lead time. I mean, if you need, if on day one you need an annexation file or something like that, you know.
No, we're just on the leading edge of this wastewater project.
So that's probably top of the list
As far as legal, there's a lot of small tangibles that hang below that aren't associated with that we'd like to address, such as the ordinances and questions like that. We want to, beat against you to say, give us some ideas on this.
Right.
But as far as a major, that is the major thing coming down the pipe.
And I'd say we could probably make a decision in 2 weeks in our regular monthly meeting.
I'd say, for instance, the engineering firm will undoubtedly have documents, and some of them may need to be reviewed, make sure it's in our best interest to sign them. Although they're standard, I found out what standard agreements to the engineer can do to them. So,
And just in defense of maybe of others, I mean, if you send me a document, you say standard document, let me know what you think. I'll probably spend 15 minutes on it and say I don't have any real problems with this. But then if you get the same exact thing for the same exact services and you sign both of those, I mean, I would have had to have been at those meetings to know that.
Hey, you already signed one of those.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You know, if you just send me something, or I'm going to look at it and I'll say, well, I don't like that there's an auto renewal clause or whatever. You know, I don't like that, some issue, but in general, I think it's okay. Most of these standard documents, at least that I do for the county, I mean, they are standard. So really the issue is not necessarily with the document, it's just with the process that led up to that.
So, as soon as 2 weeks, we can make a decision.
Let's see. I think we can, or should probably.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause that's, I mean,
So the
that's
18th,
SIDC.
the 18th is your standard meeting, and then the 3rd is,
I think SIDC said that was our next step. We need to get us an attorney,
Absolutely.
you know, for.
So we can go to the focal meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have any questions of us?
I don't think so. I take that back. I always have questions, so I apologize for that. As far as your ordinance